Welcome back, guys. Now is the best time to buy ammo. This is the third video in a series here, and we're going to talk about how to get the best price for ammo, whether you're buying online or in person. So first of all, you can't let it feel like a burden, okay? This has to be your hyperfixation, at least for a period of time, okay? You need to acknowledge that it is important enough to you to get ammunition. No one wants to buy ammo. No one wants to just have money go out of their checking account and then, for no reason. But we feel it's valuable to have ammunition for one reason or another. Everyone's reasons could be different. Many of the reasons are pretty similar, I'm sure. But you have to treat it like fun, like a hobby, like your hyperfixation. For you to search in person or online for good prices, it's going to take some time. You need to figure out whether it is worth it to you or not. And there's the balance of convenience versus cost saving. But you can't let it feel like a burden. It still needs to feel important. Of course, like I said, online versus in-store. So in-store, your LGS, your local gun shop, I think you should invest in making the rounds for a while. You should be going to these stores anyway. If you're interested in guns, you should be going there anyway. If it's Fleet Farm or Shields that you're going to, you're probably there for other reasons anyway. If you're taking the kids to Shields to go to the Ferris wheel, the kids should know, hey, Dad's gonna go through the ammo aisle and it's only gonna take 90 seconds, but you should know what you're looking for, know what prices are good, what are good and what aren't. Speaking of that, it's actually kind of interesting to get the kids involved, help them do a little quick, simple math. If they know most 9mm boxes are going to have 50 rounds, most 5.56 boxes are going to have 20 rounds, show them how to do the math on that and do that quickly. Just like 22 is often 250 rounds or 500 or 1,000, you can do the math on that easily in your head, or you should, so that when you see that price, you can determine quickly, efficiently, whether that's something to pursue or not. Or even if it's worth to pause, I think that's a good price. Pull out your phone, check the calculator, do the math on it, say, yeah, that is a good price per round, right? By the way, at the end, I will go over a whole list of prices which I feel you should not pay more than, depending on the type of ammo. We'll get to that in a second here. So local gun stores, but you're going to have to go around to all the gun stores and see where you feel the best price is going to be. And then with time, you can find a consistent, it's probably going to be best here for this type of ammo, more likely best here over, for this type of ammo. And then you can default to that. You don't have to put so much legwork in. Online is a different story, same concept, but it's going to be a lot more work, but you can do that work more conveniently. So online, I encourage you to use AmmoSeek. Okay, AmmoSeek is a great website where you can set the parameters, what cartridge you want, whether you want it to be remanned or factory, what grain weight, also the shipping costs and things like that. You can, bullet type, whatever, you can set those up. You have to create a little account in there, which is fine, and then your defaults, you can go right to that, and it'll show you the cheapest price for that particular cartridge that you're looking for. Once you get in there, start paying attention to the people, the stores, online stores selling that, and then go to the reviews, check that stuff out, and see if they're mentioning, shipping took forever, but it was an amazing price, or wow, I received this and the boxes were all busted up, blah, blah, whatever. Read the reviews. Again, what is your time worth? It might be worth it to do this, especially if you are spending hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars on ammunition. It is worth it to get a good deal on the right thing. Ensure that you have a secure means of receiving mail. If you're buying online, they're going to ship it. You're going to need to have a place for them to ship it to. If your home is safe and secure for that, then there you go. Especially if you live in a house, whatever like that, that can be good. It is not perfect. There are lots and lots of ways that things being shipped in the mail can be, stolen or whatever. If you need to ship it to your work or something, that can happen. Obviously, you can also arrange to pick it up. If it's UPS or USPS, whatever, the different shipping companies, you can go pick it up as well. That could be inconvenient for you. There might be another fee for that, maybe not. There's a lot of things that you're gonna have to think about if you're shipping a high valuable item, just in cost, but also it could be a targeted item. Okay, it's just being heavy, costs more for shipping, but also some people, if they're paying attention, they're gonna recognize that's ammunition. Maybe that's the thing I'd like to steal versus some Amazon junk that just gets dropped off, right? So be mindful of how appealing or attractive it might be for someone to steal that. As far as shipping, you're gonna have to figure in the price of insurance. It doesn't mean you need to use insurance. I generally don't, but if you feel that the risk is high, figure that into your cost per round. Again, you might have to leave work to receive or pick up a product getting dropped off at your house or go pick it up somewhere. So figure in your inconvenience time, even if you need to, the cost of fuel if you want to build that into it. Basically, one lost or stolen shipment, especially if it's thousands of rounds, even multiple hundreds of rounds, that loss right there could outweigh any of the extra work that you put in to save just a few cents a round on some of these things. So be really careful, mindful of that. For places online that you might not trust as much, and to be fair, if you're just getting into buying ammo online, you might not trust any of them, and that isn't bad. I do like going through Palmetto State Armory. I've gone through Black Basin, gone through Midway. Off the top of my head, I can't think of all the places. I don't really buy a lot of ammo online, but more than a little bit. But if you don't know if you trust that place yet, you should just consider shipping small amounts first. Now, you're shipping per round. That cost per round is going to be higher if you're shipping less of it. But it might be worth it to ship a small amount first. See if you like the ammo. First, the configuration of the ammo, if it's what you want, even just the power that it has, and the consistency of the ammo. Then the quality of the ammo itself, whether you're gonna have light strikes and what have you, whatever. The packaging too. You do want this to last a while. It needs to be packaged decently. It needs to ship all right. And then of course, just the reliability of the seller itself, whether it's going to get to you when you want it to, or whether, whatever. Things can happen. So build trust in probably in just a couple different ammo suppliers online, and that way you could go to them and you wait till they have that deal and you buy it from them. There's one-offs. There's different places that maybe you choose to go through just occasionally because it has a one-time great deal. But you need to really know your product and trust that place. You should play around with the shipping costs. Now, there's lots of places which will ship for free if it's above a certain threshold. Black Basin happens to be one of those places that I like buying from them if it's over $250. Over $250 is free shipping. Palmetto State Armory, I do really like their ammo. They almost never have free shipping, but their shipping costs are reasonable. And there are a ton of places out there which the cost of the ammo is not bad, and then the shipping is horrendous. There are places which will just rake you over the coals for shipping, so be really careful of that. Be ready to back out of it. Even if you've invested a lot of time figuring out, I'm going to put together this cart of this ammo and this, you should be deliberate as you're doing this. And then they won't tell you the shipping costs right away, of course. And you get to the end, maybe you even got your credit card number in there, and then they're going to say the shipping costs, $280 for only 1,000 rounds or something. You're like, oh man, can I justify that? Be ready to back out. Be ready to say, nope, that's not quite what I wanted. Just like shopping at a pawn shop, right? Know when to back out. Or like gambling, I don't gamble, but know when to cut your losses, I guess. Also, like for example, with Palmetto State Armory, they kind of have different tiers for shipping costs. And so X amount of cases might be $25, and then the next few you know, just one more might be $45. Well, then if that's $45, but you want more ammo, you might as well keep adding cases to it just before the next threshold that where it kicks to 56 bucks or whatever. I don't know if I explained it very well, but play around with the number of cases and see when the shipping changes or when it stays the same. You get the most, you know, out of your lowest shipping cost per round. Just like being ready to walk away from a bad deal, a deal you thought was good and then it changed or you understood it better, and you're like, nope, that's not what I want, I'm going to back out. Also be ready to make some ballsy moves sometimes. Sometimes you may have been saving up money week after week after week, and you're like, I just really want that ammo. To get that deal, I need to spend 750 bucks, and you just keep waiting and waiting, and then sometimes you might get a little nervous about pulling the trigger on it. I certainly can. I don't like spending a lot of money at once, but if you know that's the deal, that's a good deal, that's the one for you, don't, sometimes you just got to pull the trigger, pardon the pun. Either route you go with that, you need to consider the cost of your time and the value of your convenience. Okay, it's just like if you're going to in town. Sorry, if you're shopping in locally, you may want your tax dollars, the tax on things, to go locally. You may want your dollars to go to the local Fleet Farm versus Palmetto State Armory out of state. So we get to weigh that in, balance that. Of course, if you are shopping locally, there are no shipping costs. That's really nice. You could also order from Shields, for example, somewhere else, and they might ship it to in-store, and you can pick it up there. Be mindful of that. They might still charge you shipping or an extra charge. Also, there are some places online, of course, like I said, free shipping. There are some places where you're not paying tax. Now, you're going to have to do your own research on that. I don't have a list of that, but that can be very appealing, because there is actually an additional tax on ammunition and firearms, but that's actually added on the retailer, on the wholesaler side. That's not something you see. But so now we're finishing up probably the part you're hoping to hear, maybe not if you're still sticking around, but the pricing. These are the prices, the cost per round, which I do not really want to go above. Okay, so for 22 LR, and this is the past few years here, right? Past 2-3 years. 22 LR, the cheap ammo, something like Aguila, I did not want to pay more than 6 cents a round. So this I bought in January of 24. Looks like I paid 5.4 cents a round for that stuff, okay? Now, actually, I have two of these out here to demonstrate. This was October of 21. Not a good month, but I still bought some. At the time, I felt that was a good deal. It was a good deal at the time. 6.8 cents a round for 22, for cheap 22. And then, of course, we have like CCI mini mags. This stuff has almost always been nearly 10 cents a round. It went up quite a bit. It is back down to about 10 cents a round. You're not going to find it much cheaper than that. If you can just get like free shipping or a coupon or something like that, if you're buying in store, 10 cents a round is about where you'd want to spend that. You really wouldn't want to go above that. It's going to be hard to get it below that. I will point out that buying 22 online, you will almost always pay for shipping one way or the other. And the shipping cost per round for 22 is incredibly high. Because 22 is so cheap, the cost of shipping proportionally is a lot. And so I don't really buy a lot of 22 online. I would rather just buy that in-store. Also in-store, it's going to be much more plentiful anyway. You're almost always going to find 22 at Fleet Farm, Shields, Runnings, whatever. 9mm. This is the fun stuff. You can find 9mm remanufactured ammo for about 15 cents a round if you're really looking around. It might not be the best stuff, okay? But if it's remanned anyway, you can live with the not best stuff. You just get good at clearing your malfunctions, whatever you want to, justify it. But you can find it that cheap. 9mm 115 grain factory, I try not to pay more than 22 or 23 cents a round for that stuff. It is you got to look around, you got to be patient, but you can find it. I will point out this right here, this is 1,000 rounds of 9mm. This is factory 9mm, and I bought several thousand rounds from somebody wholesale, or not wholesale, but in person. I found somebody locally who was selling it. This is all factory ammo. It's good stuff, and I paid about 17.6 cents a round for this, for several thousand rounds of that. I knew that I needed to pull the trigger on that. Again, pardon the pun. But when that guy said he was selling it, I shifted my budget just a little bit for that week, and I had several $100 put towards this, and it was a good deal. I have not bought ammo in a while, and this was a good purchase. 124 grain factory ammo, I'm not going to pay more than 25 cents a round. And then 147 grain factory, and I don't buy a lot of this, but wouldn't pay more than 28 cents a round. Oddly enough, this is, oh, this was, well, that's not correct. Somehow I have the date of 2/26 on there, February of 26. Well, this is not, this was in the future. I don't know how I got that price on there. It must be 24 or something, I don't know. But I did pay 30 cents a round for that stuff, and I don't think I would do that again. I was probably just testing that out, I believe. So for 5.56, there's some pretty crappy stuff out there, like Remand 5.56, 55 grain. I would spend 38 cents, 36, 38 cents around on that stuff if you knew it would cycle most of the time. Even if it was underpowered, it'd be fine. Moving up to some of the foreign manufactured stuff. So this is how do I say it? STV from the Czech Republic. This I did spend 40 cents a round on, but I had a lot of this before. It was 38 cents a round. Pretty good stuff, really good stuff actually. Foreign, but still good powered stuff. 40 or 42 cents even a round, I would pay for that. Next up would be kind of the Lake City ammo. So here we got some Winchester Lake City. I think I paid 42 cents a round for this. That is good stuff. It's full powered, M193. It is still 55 grain, but made in the US. I wouldn't pay more than 45 cents a round for that. And then 55 grain M193, that would be an in-store price. I would pay up to 50 cents a round if I felt I was needed to buy it in-store, didn't want to pay shipping, whatever. 50 cents a round in-store for M193 is okay-ish. I just would not pay more than that. And lastly, like some 77 grain, we got some open tip match, 77 grain open tip match from AAC. This I actually got for 50 cents a round, pretty good, but I would not pay more than 60 cents a round for 77 grain open tip match, or something you'd kind of lump into the category of sort of precise, sort of defensive ammo. And then of course you can just go up and up for some real amazing stuff. So lastly, let's talk about the boutique ammos. Basically, just know what you're looking for. If it's really that important for you to have 32 ACP, 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, then you'll just pay what you're going to pay. Just buy a lot of it when you find a good price. Lastly, let's talk about buying components and reloading. And I'll just simply end it, on a simple note, I guess, that now is a good time to buy components. Now is not a good time to reload or to make your own ammo. So stocking up on components, if you had extra money, okay, there you go. Just buy components, especially stuff that you know that you're going to use later, because when the prices do go up, you can make that ammo a lot cheaper than you can buy at the store when the price is up, because you would have bought it earlier. But right now is not really a good time to reload, because factory ammo is just about as cheap as some of those components. So, well, I hope these 3 different videos helped you a little bit to go out and buy ammo, if of course that's what's best for you right now. That's it for now.